Hello everybody, we are at the pad climbing for my third local comp of the season. I'm excited, the climbs look, I don't know how they look, I'm really bad at telling, but it'll be fun. This is my third local comp of the season. Local comps qualify you for the next round of competitions, and for this specific local there are 3 climbs. You will get 3 attempts on each climb. I am the only person signed up in my age category, so I get an automatic first place. However, there are still the other age groups that are going to climb on the same climbs that I will, so I am just going to try to do my best to do better than everybody else on my climbs. Here we have my first climb of the day. This start was being a little tricky for the other girls, so I was kind of nervous about the start. The start was not like as easy as I wanted it to be. This section's easy. We're coming up on a really interesting move that you probably haven't seen before. So this will be interesting. That is called a knee bar, everybody. So my knee is wedged between those 2 holds there, which takes a lot of weight off my hands. I could realistically let go with both hands. Now I'm going up to this section, which is like the first mini crux. These holds aren't super good. It's just kind of confusing because your knee's in there. That hold that my left hand's on is really bad. So you just kind of have to figure out how to get to that hold that's marked 3. This was an interesting climb. It was a pretty bouldery climb, which is not in my style. I prefer long, moderate climbs. Now pay attention to my left foot here because you'll notice something that happened the last comp too with my feet. Luckily I get the clip. Oh! And my foot pops. That's okay though, I managed to save it. That wasn't really good for energy, but I did not fall off, so that's good. And then this is the part where the beta was confusing to me. I'm not good at reading beta, and this is always the hard part of climbing for me. Reaching to that 5 hold, I really just needed to give it a little more commitment and oomph. Luckily, I have 2 more attempts on it. Okay everybody, this was by far my favorite climb of the competition. It was just long, moderate moves for a long time. It was an endurance-y climb. The beginning was not super easy, not super hard, just pretty moderate. We're coming up to 2 underclings. This was a kind of tricky section. A lot of the boys were falling off on a hold that I'm about to reach. Yeah, that hold right there, which was really surprising to me because that's a jug and they were falling off of it left, right, and center. My synopsis as to why is because they were going up to the next hold and that made the feet worse as opposed to resting on this lower hold like I am. So that's why I think they fell. But anyway, I'm getting a really good rest off of this hold. And the next section is a bunch of pinches, which I don't like pinches. This section was really pumpy because pinches are known to be pumpy because you gotta grip them really hard. Yeah, this was a muscly section. That pinch isn't super good. None of these holds are super good except for the one jug in the beginning. This hold, like, it looks like it's good, but it's not. There we go. And then when I get my hand on the 5, that is the high point for the girls on this climb. Actually, I think for everybody on this climb. And I'm pretty pumped at this point, but I'm getting in a little rest, so I think that I'm gonna be able to push on. There we go. Get that crimp, another crimp. These holds are all really bad, by the way. I'm just trying to get anything back that I can at this point because I'm really pumped. And there are a lot of crimps to go. I know I'm at the end of this climb, but when you're at the end of the climb and you're pumped and there's a bunch of crimps and 2 clips ahead of you, you really do need a lot of gas left in the tank. and I didn't really feel like I had that much, so I'm resting so much. You see me grab that hold and try to see if there's a better hold because that hold is so bad. And I almost fell off there, but I managed to hold on to it. I really did not want to have to do this climb twice because this is a very pumpy climb and that would really sap my energy. Also, the line was really long. Yep. And I have a hard time figuring out what I want to do in this section because there are so many holds to choose from. The setters did that on purpose. They put a lot of holds there, so you have to decipher the beta, and it makes it harder, but luckily I managed to figure something out. I'm very, very pumped at this point. And there we go. There is the top. I was the only girl to top this, and only 2 other boys topped it, so that was pretty good. Okay, here is my third and final climb of the day. I'm trying it for the first time right here. This climb is the hardest climb in the whole competition. There is not a single harder climb than this one. So there's this beginning section that was pretty chill, but not super chill. I mean, it's a really hard to climb. I'm getting in a little rest here, and now we are arriving to the section of 2 mini jugs. There we go. Now that 2 is the high point of the girls at this point of the comp, and the entire point of the comp. 2 is the highest that a girl got, except for me. I got farther, but this was the high point, which really shows you how hard this climb is because 2 is really close to the ground. So I'm resting up right before this first crux section. It's really just a powerful move because you have to pinch this hold really hard and cross over to this next hold. And you see me go back to the jug there because I'm second guessing what I'm doing. And I made it, but barely. That was really close to falling off. But now I know the move, so it will only get easier. And at this point, I'm super pumped, and I'm really just wanting to get this 3 points. So I've secured the 3 points, and I know the beta is to go left hand to this hold, but I didn't think I would be able to do that move. And there you see me fall off. But since I grabbed that with my right hand, I got 3 points. So that was kind of my strategy about that. Okay, so this is my next attempt on this pink one because remember you have 3 attempts on all the climbs. I am really pretty confident that I can get to the top of this time. Yep, I'm just in that knee bar again, like I mentioned. Knee bar is a good rest, but it's a little tricky to get out of the knee bar. Now this time I make sure not to lose my left foot like before. I'm paying attention to it, so that was good. There we go. Now you can see my thumb on the volume. I did not have my thumb on it before, and that made that section way easier. And then after I got that hold, the rest of the climb was pretty chill because as you can see, I have a really high foot, and this is a really good rest. It's like super relaxing. I'm hardly even grabbing the holds to keep me on the wall. I could take a lot of rest in this position. There are the slopers. These slopers on the top weren't super good, but they also weren't super bad. They were fine. I was pretty pumped though. There we go. And I'm at the top. So this means that I only have the black left to try because I topped the pink one and I topped the orange one. Here is my second attempt on the black climb. Brick and I had talked over an alternative beta, and the beta was instead of going super statically and slowly off the pinch on the crossover move, I was going to try to do it dynamically. You'll see how that works right here. Another thing to note is I forgot to do the high clip, which is bad. And yeah, so what I learned from that attempt is it really needs to be slow and controlled to make that work. Here is my third and final attempt on this black one. At this point, the comp is almost over. I'm pretty tired, but I really wanted to give this one another go because I fell early on the last attempt, and I know that I can get higher on this climb than before. So I get this move. This is the first crux, and it was actually not as hard as I remember it. It was pretty chill. Now I'm way more comfortable on this pocket because I go for it right away. I don't hesitate. Get that clip in. This is a really hard section. It's just a really hard climb in general. And I'm very tired because it's the end of the comp and this is the hardest climb. Luckily I got to 4, which is a pretty good jug, but I don't really have enough gas in the tank left to rest. So I'm just gonna get as high as I can at this point. I go for the 5, there we go. I've secured 5 points and I just was too tired. But 5 points was the highest of the girls by far, and then one boy topped it and one boy got to 6. This comp was a really fun comp. I didn't have much pressure because there was nobody else signed up, but I got my first place points and it was fun. The climbs were fun, and I think that I've gotten better at my beta reading little by little throughout these comps, and I'm excited for the next comp this weekend.